Okay, let's begin part 2, the Algebra 1 exam review. Starting with number 35. So name the ordered pair at point A, that's right here, and explain what it represents. So you can read this on your own, pause if you need to, so you know the context. But this is at the ordered pair 30, 180. And if you just look at the units that are given, it should make sense that we're talking about someone who's 30 years old. Their maximum heart rate should be 180. So 30-year-olds should have a maximum heart rate of 180. Okay, next up they ask us for the independent and dependent variable. The independent variable is always the x value, so the x-axis. So this is age, in this case in years. And the dependent variable is always the y value, which in this case is heart rate measured in beats per minute, which you can see if you read the directions at the top. Okay, next up, we're asked to use function notation. So that we're told f of x is equal to 2x plus 5, and they want us to find f of 3. So all that means is you plug 3 in for x. So we do 2 times 3 plus 5. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 5 is 11. So f of 3 is equal to 11. For the next one, we use g of x, this function right here. Notice it has two x's, so we'll have to plug negative 3 in for both of those. So g of negative 3 is negative 3 squared. Make sure you put this in parentheses. Minus 3 times negative 3. So negative 3 squared is positive 9. Squaring things always turns it to be positive. Now we have negative 3 times negative 3, which makes it plus 9. So we get 18 for g of negative 3. Alright, it gets a little bit trickier now that there's some variables in 38 and 39, but the process is still the same. Just like up here, we plugged 3 in for x. Here we'll plug in k plus 2 for x. So we'll do 2 times parentheses k plus 2 plus 5. We do need to simplify, so we'll do the distributive property and get 2k plus 4 and plus the 5 right there. And we can combine plus 4 and plus 5 and get 2k plus 9. On 39, we need to plug negative 2y in for x squared. So I replace the x with negative 2y. Make sure you put this in parentheses because you got to square the whole thing. Minus 3 times negative 2y. So remember, squaring things always makes it positive. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Y times y is y squared. Here we have a negative 3 times a negative 2, which gives us a positive 6y. So that's what g of negative 2y is equal to. Okay, solve each equation. Hopefully these are becoming more routine for you now. We want to get r by itself. So this is a positive 12. It doesn't matter what's right here. It matters what's in front of the number. That's an understood positive there. So we do the opposite and subtract 12 from both sides. So we get r equals negative 9. Okay, over here, what's in front of the 7 is a negative or a minus. So we need to add 7 to both sides. Negative 12 plus 7 is negative 5. Okay, here we got negative 7 times b, so we need to do the opposite and divide by negative 7. we get b equals positive 5. Because anytime you have a negative divided by a negative, the result will be positive. Okay, you can do this one in one step or two. I'm going to choose to do it in 2 steps. We want to get rid of the 8 that's in the denominator, and I'm going to go and get rid of the negative as well. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 8. So that cancels out the negative and the 8 on this side, leaving 5w. And negative 9 times negative 8 gives us positive 72, because 2 negatives when multiplied give us a positive. Last step is to divide by 5. Now if you leave the answer as a fraction of 72 over 5, that's completely fine. I would accept that. If you prefer the decimal, it's 14.4. But I would happily accept 14.4 or 72 over 5. Both of those are good answers. On 44, we've got a fraction equal to a fraction. What's easiest when we do that is to cross multiply. So 25 times p equals 9 times 125, which is 1125. We then divide both sides by 25. We get p equals 45. We want to solve for a. We want to get a by itself. We want to start with what's farthest away from a, which is the 4 over here. So the first step is to subtract 4 from both sides. Negative 14 minus 4 is negative 18. Then we divide both sides by negative 3. Get a equals positive 6. All right, 46, we've got some distributing we need to do first. So I'll multiply 3 times 2x and 3 times 4. Sorry, this would be 6x, my fault. Not sure what I was writing there. I can go and combine the 5 plus 12 and get 17 plus 6x equals 6x minus 5. Now I want to combine my variables, so I'll subtract 6x from both sides, but that actually makes them both cancel out, leaving just 17 equals negative 5. Well, that's not true. 17 is never equal to negative 5. And when you get a nonsense answer like this, that means there is no solution to the equation. Okay, 47, I want to combine the variables, so I'm going to add x to both sides. I get 4 equals 2x plus 6. Subtract 6 from both sides, get negative 2 equals 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x is equal to negative 1. Okay, on 48, similar to 46, we have to distribute first, so we'll do 7 times n and 7 times 1. We have some like terms we can combine right here. 7n minus 2n. We can subtract 5n from both sides because we want to combine the variables. But that again just gets rid of the variables completely. But notice the difference between 46 and 48. In 46 we get an untrue statement. 17 does not equal negative 5, ever. So there's no solution. But 7 equals 7 all the time. So when you get a true statement like this, you say it's infinite solutions. Okay, 49 is a little bit of a beast, I admit. We'll distribute. Distribute again. So if you notice right here, negative 8 plus 8 just cancels out. Leaving just negative 4p on this side. 2p minus 7p is negative 5p. Negative 2 plus 15 is plus 13. So my last step is actually to add 5p to both sides. And I get a positive 1p equals 13. Okay, on 50 we're adding an absolute value. So I do absolute value of 4 times negative 2, because that's what t is equal to, plus n, which is 5. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. Oh, I'm sorry, you couldn't see. Walk through it again. 4 times negative 2 plus n, which is 5. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. And the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. Okay, I think I'll pause there at the 50 mark, and we'll continue on the next video.